Hey, y'all, this is Kris from the Prize Foundation, and I am excited to bring you another episode of the Prize Cast. Today, we're going to be hosting Startup Prize Mentors on Caffeine. I'll be interviewing one of our local marketing gurus, Jazmin Jernigan. She's going to give you some advice on how you can help your business use digital marketing and stay active to weather the storm during COVID-19. Jazmin, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Jazmin, obviously you work in marketing. Tell us a little bit about your experiences, what do you do? What's your day-to-day like? What's Jazmin's life?
I consider myself a creative professional. The name of my business is Aesthetic Innovations. We are basically a full service marketing firm, photography, graphic design, whole nine. We primarily help small businesses, but also nonprofit organizations to kind of craft their visual brands. We help people to find their visual voices, whether that be online or in person. I was already kind of working from home or working from the office before COVID, but that's kind of kicked into an overhaul now. I spend a lot of my time behind the computer, doing logo design, retouching photos, crafting email campaigns, that kind of thing. So my everyday is kind of different for me, I think.
Yeah. Well, while you've been out there and kind of seeing what's going on, how would you say that the digital landscape of marketing has changed since we, got into the COVID situation? Like, what are you seeing out there? What are some trends? Are we seeing more saturation in certain areas? What have you seen out there?
Well, overall, I just see business owners who are having to pivot and become more creative in how they engage their consumers, right? That means reaching out via email campaigns, via social media, and not just selling or pushing a product, but actually engaging their clients and their customers. So that means whether that's playing games, whether that's asking, polling their clients and customers, doing more videos and blogging. We see a lot of that. We see a lot of live feeds in our streams right now. And that's a huge thing right now, is if you're a business owner, kind of taking your customers or your consumers behind the scenes of how your business operates day to day, or making yourself a subject matter expert based on whatever industry you may be in.
With everybody, we're all tightening our purse strings, we're all battening down the hatches. What are some really great low cost and high impact ways that these small business and entrepreneurs can pivot to digital marketing? And what are the resources, the low cost, the free, the available maybe digital resources that are out there that folks can use while we're all at home working from home? What are things they can do now at home to expand their education and move forward?
Right. So a lot of times businesses think that you have to have high production quality. And right now, because of everybody being kind of stuck at home and using what they have available, we're seeing that consumers aren't really so wrapped up in it being high quality and flash or high resolution, but it's all about the message. So the most important thing is to sit down as a business owner and really think about the message that you're wanting to convey and the why and the emotion behind what you're trying to exchange with your consumer before you craft that message. If you've got a cell phone, an iPad, and somebody to help you make a video, you've got a great starter kit right there. In terms of lighting, make sure you have a big bright window, that you're able to work with. Simple things like that is a great way to get started. In terms of how you can connect with those consumers and customers that you already have, you can vlog, you can video, you can create vlogs for your YouTube channel if you have a YouTube channel already. If you don't, then definitely going live on Facebook or Instagram is a great way to kind of garner new followers, as well as keep in contact with your existing followers, your existing subscribers, but also being able to interact in real time with those followers and those customers that are loyal to your base already. In terms of taking this time to possibly beef up your education, Coursera.com is actually doing 85 free courses. Many of their courses are already free. Most of the top university, Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth, they have online courses that they're also offering for free. So that's a great way to start just expanding on education that you can pull into your business. Because right now, if you are at home, if you are working from home, this is a really great time to re-examine and revisit your marketing strategy overall. So that means looking at, do you have a measurable system in place where you are keeping track of your clientele? Are you actually reaching out to your clientele as often as you should be? Do you have systems in place? Are you using something like MailChimp or Constant Contact to keep in contact with your customers via email? How often are those emails going out, and what kind of responses are you getting from that? This is a really good time to kind of go through those actual measurable, quantifiable numbers so that you can make some shifts and changes in your marketing strategies to really pack some punch.
I think that is some really great advice for what folks can be doing to kind of maintain their current client base. Yeah. This is maybe not the time that we're all looking to expand our client base, but we do want to maintain contact with our clients and our constituents if we're nonprofit organizations. And I think that advice you've given is really great to take a look at what you're currently doing. What else do you think that our entrepreneurs, small business, even larger businesses can do to really best position themselves for success after everything is over, after we're kind of back to whatever our, let's say, the new normal, because obviously we're not going to go back to normal.
Right.
So what can people do to really position themselves for success when we go into whatever the new normal looks like?
Right. Although this is the prime time to make sure that you're in contact with your existing clientele, I think personally, small businesses have more of an opportunity to actually expand their bases and get new clients, because you have so many people online, because you have so many eyes in the timeline right now. Those small businesses really have an opportunity to kind of possibly gain some new followers. It just depends on how they're engaging the existing clientele and if they're sharing, liking, commenting, and actually interacting. And I think that's the really important part. I think a lot of small businesses think when they get on social media, they're selling something, right? That's the mindset is, oh, we're marketing, so we're going to sell. And the pivot during COVID-19 is really checking the pain points of your consumers. So it's not so much about the selling, it's about the business owner checking in with their clients and saying, how is everybody? How can we make your experience better? How can we change? And then actually listening to that client and then making some shifts to their business. I think for larger businesses, this is their prime time to revisit their customer support strategy in how they're interacting with clients, in how they're reassuring clients that they are capable of continuing to provide exemplary service, that they are concerned about the clients, and what measures that they may be taking in their businesses to ensure client safety. That's what you're seeing more with larger businesses versus the small businesses.
So have you seen any, I'd love to hear about some really great examples of both small, large business, nonprofits that you've seen them take this pivot to a more digital approach.
I'm so glad that you brought that up. In terms of nonprofit organizations, a local nonprofit by the name of stepforwardnla.org has done a really great job of using this time as an opportunity to gather resources and information for the community so that everything is kind of in one place on their website. And they've got everything listed from emergency childcare services, parental advice, downloadable PDFs on how to manage stress, resources for small businesses. If you were employed by, if you were employed and you needed to file for unemployment, what are the links and websites that you should be looking at? I think they're doing a really great job, because not only are they collecting information that's really useful and helpful for the community and putting it in one place, but they're also putting out content in terms of articles on how to manage stress. What are some healthy ways to avoid anxiety or manage anxiety during this time? And so we are seeing not just nonprofits, but also small businesses that are thinking beyond the items and the products that they sell. And they're thinking about how their products and services relate to the overall health and well-being of their consumer base, right? So what that means is finding a different or unique value proposition, right? Another really good example for me was, I noticed a photographer in my feed that said, I know that I can't go out and take these pictures. I know I can't interact with my clients, but I could have my clients send a picture of me, of themselves on their cell phone to me. And the photographer retouched the photo in a way that was really beautiful, and they sent it back to the client. Now, there are some issues with that, because obviously you take a picture with your phone, it's low res. But really what the photographer is showing the client is, hey, I've got these retouching skills. You're still able to walk away with something really beautiful and really meaningful. It may not be something that you can get blown up into a wall mural, but that photographer is managing to stay relevant through all of this. And beyond that, that photographer understands that he's creating an emotional connection with that client, because he's saving their memories, right? You see photographers documenting what's happening, in terms of maintaining social distance, but taking family portraits of families in front of their homes, like in their driveways, literally. Things like that are really creative. It may not be the norm, but we're not living in the norm right now. So I think there is a little wiggle room in terms of what consumers will accept, in terms of not the quality, but the intent of what's being produced. I think that's really important, is the intention behind what a business offers or what a business points out. I think consumers really do appreciate it when their business that they're in contact with is mindful about their safety and their health and their well-being, and they hear that and they see that in the business practices.
Yeah, I think that's really important to a lot of people, is to feel like our, I hate to say panic, but like our anxieties and our feelings are being heard by these providers. And so obviously that's something that people should be doing. And we've talked a lot about what businesses should be doing right now, what are best practices. Before we go, could you give us a little glimpse into maybe some pitfalls that people should really be avoiding right now? What just don't do? Just do not do this.
I think so. I've seen this from both perspectives. I'm of the belief that don't do nothing, right? I think it's important to definitely reach out in any way that you can to your customers, your clientele, and your consumers. And if you're in a position where you can't actively reach out, then this is the ideal time to plan and to strategize on how your marketing could be different. And think about, okay, what is my relationship to my consumer? Am I selling so that I can get money, or am I actually solving a problem? And I think once businesses really drill down and figure out what problems they solve for their consumers and their clients, that's when you can start creating content that's really meaningful and really poignant and really hits some heartstrings for your clients and become more than just the business that I got XYZ product from. If you can't book a session, what can you do as a business owner? Can you create an ebook? Can you do a workshop? Can you do virtual yoga? Can you start a subscription-based service? And I think that's where you're going to see things go after this new norm has kind of fallen into place. You're going to see a lot of small businesses that realize, hey, maybe we have some opportunity here for multiple streams of income. Maybe we have opportunity for a subscription-based virtual service in addition to what we had already been doing, right? I think the other thing to be really mindful of, because COVID is really serious and it really is affecting lives and it's changing families. And there are, we're so proud and so blessed to have medical care professionals that are on the front lines and, doing all they can to help us stay healthy and keep us healthy. But the fact is that we know that some of those family members, and they may not make it home. And that's really tough. That's a really tough thing. And so I think that businesses have to be really sensitive to that we are in a global pandemic and these are real lives that are being changed and that's at stake. So when you're crafting your message, just be mindful that at the end of the day, this isn't about a dollar that you can make. It's about a family, a person, an individual life that you could actually be affecting. And so we want to be sensitive to that in how we craft our message. So be careful in the type of humor that you might use. Definitely, we want to make sure that we keep things light and we stay positive and we make sure that our message overall is kind of wrapped in an optimistic kind of viewpoint. But just to be mindful and to be sensitive to the fact that people may be hurting right now and they may be in positions that are very uncomfortable and very stressful.
Well, Jazmin, I think that is a really great point to end on, kind of to remind us all that we do, even though things are really hard right now, it is important to take what moments of joy and what optimism you can and to kind of share that with everybody else. It's a little bit obvious, I guess, of what we're trying to do here with the Prize Cast is to just bring a little bit of our prize glitter to everybody's lives while they're at home during these times. So thank you so much for being with us here today, Jazmin. I think that your advice is going to be really critical and great for some of our entrepreneurs and small business owners. And so I think that the advice you've given is so great and so broad scoping that I think it'll really help a lot of people. So let's give it a hearty Viva la Prize Fest on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Viva la Prize
Fest! Thanks again, Jazmin, and we'll talk to you soon.